we came in with nothing really to talk about because what we wanted to talk about was freedom of speech.
Right.
You had a couple of topics, I think, out there that you kind of wanted to lead with. So I'm going to let you lead the conversation as I try and get this
Finish your starburst
down.
Well, my question is, if we're talking about freedom of speech, and you should have freedom of speech in this country, and there are people who are paid to be opinion columnists, journalists, talking heads, and they make a comment, and then they're fired for the comment for which is their role, what's going on?
All right. And I'm from the business side. My business brain works. And we're in the, and a lot of people don't realize this. And news is this way, and I don't think people realize this. News is this way.
A business.
It's a marketing business.
More so now than ever.
That delivers the news.
Right.
Okay? That's what we are. I mean, you guys see the scrolls and you see all those things. We're a marketing business, and I tell Blake, I tell Rebecca, but we try and get as most accurate information out there. We're very fortunate that our sponsors are all very rational people and give us the freedom to do what we want to do. But we're also not dealing with billion-dollar contracts or million-dollar contracts where we have to be cautious of what we say.
Right.
So I'm not sure what the words were that triggered it, because I read it and I didn't see why
about Matthew Dowd?
Well, yeah, Matthew Dowd. I didn't see. Well, you actually read it to me. I didn't read it. You read it to me, but I listened.
I didn't leave out any words.
I listened. I don't think you paraphrased it.
Nope.
So I didn't see what was so damning that would create that. But I'm also not the person that runs the business that he works for. So that person is the one who has to deal with that ramification, because there's certain people that have gotten fired, and the person that got fired went on to be way more successful than the group they left. And most of the time, that's how it plays out. So, you know, I was asked to possibly leave my job 12 years ago. 13 years ago, sorry.
I'm having an odd couple flashback. Go ahead.
13 years ago. All right. Now I am a guy who pretty much you get what you get with me. And if you don't like me, I'm okay with that. You don't have to. I'm completely okay with it. Because I don't care what you think of me, because I'm probably not thinking of you at all. So,
right.
You know, that's kind of my mantra, but I'm going to be me, and I always have to be me. So I left that job. When I left that job, and actually that morning I said, I'm going in to say these things, and 3 things are going to happen, and none of them are good.
Well, you went in with the foreknowledge.
I knew that my words were going to hurt my potential of continuing to work at that job. But I had to do it. I had to. It was in me. And I had to do it. I understood when I said those words. And when I say words here, unless you hear me apologize almost immediately because I've said something firing off, because we do that.
Right.
We fire off and then we go, I probably should have cushioned that a little bit better. But I knew I had to live with that. The person who said these words, Dowd, he said these words. He's an intelligent guy. He knew when he said these words, okay, this could have a negative impact. If he didn't realize that,
I wonder.
Then he was unaware of the person he was actually working for. I was completely aware of the person I was working for, and yet I still used words in that conversation that I knew were going to be costly.
Well, it's interesting because I believe he was fired from MSNBC. Which is a left-leaning. I mean, I have a hard time listening to MSNBC a lot when it comes down to it at times. It's a left-leaning news organization. He was working as an opinion commentator, yet they fired him for that. So I'm curious. And when I read the comment to you, and when I read the comment myself, it was expository, but it wasn't necessarily inflammatory. So,
Yeah. I can tell you, I did not see what he said to be overly offensive. I could see how it hurt some other people that were super sensitive in a
Well, it's also,
in a certain position, but I did not see it being overly offensive.
well, we always joke about, and you say something and it's too soon.
Yeah.
This also could be a huge case of too soon. Right now, there's raw wounds in the country that need to have a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time to heal. But, there's a lot of people that aren't allowing for that to happen. They're looking for, I don't know what kind of closure you're going to get or expect. And I feel for this family. It's, these two small children are going to grow up without their father. They're 1 and 3,
Yeah.
So
No,
they'll have memories. And
I mean, he's a guy, in my opinion, who did very well for himself, and very well for his family. I believe he truly believed what he was saying, and felt strongly about it. And I believe he understood it. And, he traveled with security. He knew some of the dangers, but I don't think anyone saw this horrific of an action coming from an area that should have been one of the most welcoming areas. Like, he went into some pretty hostile environments, but I didn't see Utah being that.
No.
And I don't think he did either.
Correct.
So,
and I'm sure there was a turning point chapter on that campus, because I think that's who invited him to the campus, if I'm not mistaken. And I might be.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, it was sort of, he was welcomed and he was there. But by that same token, correct me if I'm off base on this, but I would venture to say that, a lot of his opinions are polarizing, that his supporters embrace them and support that. But there's, as many people that disagree with those opinions.
And we talked a little bit about this. And when you are a religious-based decision maker, you're going to be polarized by the other side who believes something different than you, or doesn't believe in what you believe in. And if you do not understand that portion of it, I encourage you to find out more what the other side believes before you go into this. I think he fully knew what the other side believes. I think he fully knew he was trying his best to recruit people to his side. And I think he was doing a pretty good job of it. He was getting paid very well to do it. He had, a tremendous following. He was employing, I think they said 120 something people with the foundation. He was 31 years old and, found a level of success. His tragic death, unfortunately, way too soon at 31.
It's going to magnify that.
It's going to magnify what his message was. There are people making comparisons from the far right that I don't feel are appropriate to the actions he was doing, because I do believe he was doing it to get his message across. He was supporting his family. He was supporting a business, even though it was a foundation or a movement. But some of the comparisons that the far right's making, I think, are extreme. And that does not diminish this man as a person, a father, or any of those things. But the heinous crime that took place should not happen to any human being.
Correct.
It doesn't make him any different than any of the other deaths that have occurred out there from a basis of hate. Okay, and that comes from both sides. And if a crime happens from a basis of hate because of your religion, because of your political beliefs, because of the color of your skin, that is the most heinous crime. And I do not look at the person that's committed this crime as being an equal human to me. And you guys can take that the way you want to take it. I know there were some strong emotions in there, but that is where I'm at. And the good news is, I can't get fired from this job unless I fire myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be a tough conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, believe me, I don't like me all the time. Yeah. So.
Just don't look in the
I have that conversation a lot, but I love me all the time. Right. I don't always like me, but I do love me all the time.
That's healthy.
And not in a creepy way either.
Way to walk that one back. Yeah, exactly.
Just in case Blake decided to take that and make it into a reel.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something real quick. Like when we're talking about the legacy, did you happen to get like any text from like Turning Point, or like any organization like after issuing that says like we need to support the Republican Party more because
scams?
Yes,
there was scams everywhere, and they look for every possible dark opportunity. I mean, hell, the reason they had to take the jail log down is because people were using the jail log to break into people's houses or take over their identities, or exploiting them with their relatives with fake bail bonds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The criminals out there work so hard. If they worked just as hard to make our country better than they did to rip people off, man, we'd have a great country.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Mm-hmm. So
exactly. You know, they spend. It always fascinates me, the energy that people put into doing ill, you know, malfeasance. You know, instead of doing it to do it the right way.
Mm. So, do I want people to be able to freely talk? Yes, I want people to be able to freely talk. But if you're doing it at a detriment to your business, you have to understand you're going to get fired, or there's a potential of some backlash or negative impact on the workforce. And I know some of these people that they're out there and they're saying that we're attacking free speech and stuff like that. I am a fighter for freedom of speech, but I also understand that that's a decision that boss or that owner had to make. And usually if you make the wrong decision, you're going to pay a bigger penalty than the person that gets fired.
Okay.
Because I can tell you right now, I went in there knowing exactly what was going to happen to me. I couldn't be in a happier place than where I'm at right now, employment-wise.
Okay. So let me ask you a question.
Or in my life.
You know,
I didn't mean to just say it employment-wise. I mean, or in my life. I'm where I'm supposed to be right now.
So we were talking earlier, and you were explaining the fact that in a free-to-work state or in a private company or things of that nature, you can get fired for whatever. And my question is twofold. One, and if you're doing it on your private social medias and you're not doing it, espousing it in the workplace, you know, why is it any concern of theirs if it doesn't affect the business or the workplace and you're exercising your opinion? And more importantly, if you're employed by a newspaper and you're working in an opinion section and the owner of the newspaper doesn't like your opinion, again, he has the right to follow you, but what does that say about the newspaper?
That's the choice people have to make on which side they want to be on that. You know, that owner made that choice. I've seen it more times than not. The person who is on the side of right ends up victorious in the long run. Right. It might feel like a pain in the ass right now, but this is my own personal experience. When something similar to this happened to me, I was like, well, this really sucks, but because I didn't have an exact plan, but I financially was in a pretty good position at the time. But the person who is on the side of right, usually the guys in the white hats usually come out on top. And I know people don't believe that in a lot of ways because they think, oh, it's the person of power. But even the person of power, it catches up to. And the person on the right usually prevails.
Well,
doesn't always work that in war, but I mean, in personal experiences that I've had.
At that point in time, though, so from a newspaper point of view, you know, once they start putting the thumb on the scale of their own opinion columnists and, you know, either edit or take them offline because they're not liking their opinions, then, you know, at a certain point in time, when time do you start questioning the news that they're reporting as being accurate and not pointed? And what time does it start becoming a newspaper and become a propaganda arm.
Okay, here's I'm going to put myself in a scenario, and you tell me as a boss if you think this
Okay.
was the way. This is the way I would have handled that.
Okay.
All right, you've written an editorial. I give you full reign to write the editorial. All right, I would probably go to you and say, "Hey, Lenny, I don't agree with what you said. All right, so I'm going to write a counterpoint in tomorrow's paper, arguing the other side."
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to put the two of them together.
Fine.
Okay? That's how I would have handled it on this network.
Point, counterpoint.
Yeah, I would have said, hey, you have a right to your opinion. Now I'm going to give mine, of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, pick and choose which way you want to be. If you want to be in the middle somewhere, that's fine too. But give people that option, because I do believe people are smart enough to make their own choice. And I don't think a lot of these news networks believe that. They believe they need to absorb like a sponge everything we say and then follow us the way we want to be followed. Fox does it, CNN does it, MSNBC does it, all the networks out there do it. But I want to give them the information and let them select from there. And I know that doesn't always work in the real world. And it might not be profitable in the real world, but like I said, we're in a very fortunate situation where we have people that support us that understand I want to keep that balance. So, as an employee, how would you have taken that? Or as a boss, how would you have handled it differently than me?
Well, if it was, all right, so we read your piece and we want a counter piece to balance that out, fine, because as an opinion person, your opinion is going to be your opinion and somebody's going to have a different opinion. And for a news organization or a newspaper to put that out, that's fine. I think part of the issue we're dealing with now is the 24-hour news cycle and the fact that you can't get, piece from any of these news stations, whether it's Fox, MSNBC, CNN, US, whatever it is, Newsmax, whoever they are. It's constant, and they need to fill space. And when they do that, they're just putting everything out there, and it's like clean up an aisle 4 after the fact. After the bottle breaks, they go back and clean it up. In the old days when you had local news at 6 o'clock and national news at 6:30, it was over at 7 o'clock, and you got another half an hour at 11 to 11:30, and 10 minutes of that, fortunately, was sports. The rest of the day went on, and you weren't beaten over the head with everything that was going on.
Well,
and they had to be a little bit more concise and a little bit more accurate. So nowadays, the rush is, it's like the old days when extra, and I got an exclusive. I got to get my story into the newspaper and get it out onto the street before somebody else does. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening too. Everybody's rushing to get the first comment out there or the first news story out there without the details.
There's always been the ability to scoop, and there's always been the ability to rush to get that story. And we do it here like everybody else. We want to be the first one to get you that information, but we always want to try and get it to you as accurately as we possibly can. These big networks are entertainment companies. They're marketing companies that provide some news. Right. And they don't always focus on the Ed Murrows, the Walter Cronkites, the people that we truly trusted and respected. And because the backlash from the public has hurt their sponsors so much. And this is, and you guys always tell me I use the term woke incorrectly. But we have created a society that if you're on the wrong side of that, you can get cancel culture can attack you on a regular basis. They're trying to do it. And anyone who has a different thought process from you, like the left went after Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby. All right. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't work. The right's targeted, I think Starbucks before. I mean, it's targeted some of the more liberal leaning businesses. And the thing is if you're doing your business right, you're going to survive. Because you can't be reactive. You have to be true to your business and what your business message is. And we have to, like I said in Troy's 2 cents, politics has become too involved in our day-to-day. We need to be humans. We need to be fathers. We need to be husbands. We need to be, neighbors and friends. And then the other shit can take care of itself. And unfortunately, we start a lot of our decisions from a group of people that are over here that don't know your life at all.
Right.
And they try and cookie cutter everything. If I wanted to buy something at Starbucks, I don't buy coffee. And the party I'm with, and I'm kind of not really with the party, tells me I can't buy it. I'm going to go, that doesn't make a decision. I'm still buying it.
Right.
And that's, the closest I come to being woke.
An economic boycott? Okay.
Yeah. I never have done an economic boycott, but I don't like Tom Cruise movies.
Okay.
I just don't go to the movies. So
right.
I just don't like Tom Cruise movies. But I mean, that's the closest I think I have to ever doing something. Now, if I get bad service at a place, Blake, what do I do if I get bad service?
The ban list.
They get put on a ban list for 6 months. They're not a lifetime ban, but they get put on a ban list. Now, I'll come back and we'll see if you'll do okay the next time.
Now,
but they just don't get my money.
now,
Right.
but
Which is fine.
But also, I will say it's not only restaurants. There have been like other locations as well, stores, like bakeries, art galleries got to get put on a ban list sometimes as well.
Yeah, when you and usually 9 times out of 10, it's not so much the product, it's the service and how you made me feel.
Right.
And that's when you get put on the ban list. So, or I look at it something and I'm like, all right, they did that on purpose.
They were putting you on the ban list.
Maybe they were.
Okay.
Maybe they were. So they were like, oh, I've heard of Troy's ban list. Let's go with that. So, yep. All right, social media. This is our last, and then we're going to go to 5 questions. Social media, which we are on, and this is the platform we use is through social media in so many different ways. I mean, as part of our business. Social media, there are people that claim to be experts that are nowhere near experts. There are smart people out there that people don't know their names, and they should be listening to. So when getting information from social media, like us,
right,
like the 904 Now,
there's just so much of it out there.
I strongly encourage you to get it from other places too.
Mm-hmm.
And if we line up with you, we want you to stay with us. If we don't line up with you, we're sorry. We still would love to have you. Even if you want to listen in and say, hey, Troy, that's not right. I'm okay with that too.
Right.
I'm completely okay with that. But be cautious of who you're watching. If it's fake, there's so many fakes out there, and so many scams.
It's going to get worse.
So many stories that aren't right. I mean, just from this one incident, the person was a trans person. That's why they did it. The person was a right-wing radical, and they didn't think he was right enough. That's why they did it. And there's stories going around, and let this man have his family have their peace. Does it matter why he's not here? It matters that we lost a human being life.
Right. To murder.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean,
he didn't have a heart attack.
Yeah. So, hey, Kathy. Kathy just joined us.
Yeah.
So,
I will say like the reason why like a lot of people are like worrying about like all this information about the person that was involved was because like who's gonna be like the main mouthpiece that's why I'll be getting this message across that says like, okay, so if this information comes out from official sources, then what is the president of the United States going to say about it then?
Well, and that's part of the problem too. I want people to make their own decisions, not that the president's saying this is the decision you should make. All right, and not that the leader of that party says that this is the decision you should make. That's the beauty of our country. We have free will to think and create our own. The information's there.
Mm-hmm.
Go and find it. Find the one that lines up with you the best, and then that's the one you're going to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we line up with a lot of people a lot broader. And that, I mean, hopefully we kind of connect with people because we're all in this together. I mean, if you go to my 2 cents, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about being human. And that's, just be nice. It's not that freaking hard.
Right, be kind.
Yeah. Just be nice.
Yeah. We're Ellen DeGeneres now when you need her.
No.
She was beating her employees.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Well, that was the other thing. You know, she was everything about be kind, and then behind the scenes, I don't think she was so kind. Apparently.
So. But I mean, and I think Barbara Jean's talking about conspiracy. There's conspiracy theories about every single thing out there, and every single. And I'm not a true conspiracy theory. I see some things. I think I have a really strong task analysis skills. I can break down something very quickly and understand where the source is coming from and where this is coming from. And I continue to do that while I'm in the conversation. And I think that allows me to be neutral in a lot of different scenarios that I don't think other people do. And it's because I literally try and break down and go, all right, this is what they're saying, but what would the other person say on this side? Whether you've made your opinion on what their thought is already, all that stuff's processing with me. So, and
and Barbara Jean's saying now that it's a conspiracy with over 20 conspirators involved. And I think, you know, is getting this from social media as opposed to
exactly.
You know, he's saying, you know, according to what the published reports from the police sources or the FBI sources, he you know, allegedly admitted to it, turned himself in, and said, "I did it by this was all me. There was nobody else involved in it." So you know, it's going to go on. It sounds
like he came from it sounds like he came from a strong family.
Yep.
His dad was, I think, in law enforcement or something. I mean, you know,
church going.
Yeah, and also made it sound like that their pastor also convinced him to put it in as well.
Excuse
so
me.
Yeah, you can. That's the one time you can move that microphone away from you.
Sorry, Amanda. It'll be here for you in the morning.
That's the closest he's ever been to the mic right then.
And you coughed in it. Yeah,
Amanda, we will sterilize.
We'll sanitize this before we get to you. Don't you worry.
But another thing I want.
It's only the measles, and I haven't had a vaccine. No.
Yeah, but another thing as well, like a lot of misinformation as well, and I know that you're on Facebook a lot as well. Have you been seeing like a lot of like the AI like posts as well, like not only talk about like Charlie Kirk hugging Jesus or like that type of photos, but there's also been like photos of like of a Facebook post of like Charlie Kirk's dad getting hugs from like Adam Sandler, like stuff like people making posts.
See, that's just not appropriate.
Yeah,
and Blake, the fact that you're looking at that's what I'm talking about exactly. That doesn't stimulate your brain in any way. I am a scroller past that. Now you've even caught me going, Dad, that's fake. I was like, oh, okay,
right,
yeah, and. You know, I was like, oh, what about that? Nope, that's fake. Because we go through a lot of stories. Like you go through the most of all of us. And we got to decipher that.
But my question then is like, okay.
Hey, you're in trouble with Barbara Jean right now.
I know.
You get Amanda sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not my intention.
Yeah. But my question is like so if but let's say if we do see that post, but it's not like that post. Someone like we know and care about that might have a voice shares that post as well. Like should we be the ones to say, hey, that's AI. That story to see is not true. That image was artificial intelligence. Should we like make a comment like that in the post, like message them like in the back end, like.
And I think you got to train yourself to understand what is AI and what is not AI. there's a human factor in everything. Kenny says AI has taken over the internet. AI has taken over the internet controlled by humans.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking the technology, and it's a human that's controlling how that's taken over the internet. So that's like saying the gun shot you. No, the gun didn't shoot
Right.
you.
If somebody
The
put a finger on the
person's
trigger.
finger
Right.
on that trigger is who shot you. So a broad statement like that are the things you have to warn and
Well-
train your brain against so that you don't fall for stuff like that. Spam risk. Should I answer it on air, Blake? You love when I answer these.
No.
Ah, okay.
Probably not
But-
the right time to say that because of what you usually say during
Yeah, no. I usually tell people they're calling a crime scene.
Yeah.
So
You know, the problem with AI now and the fact that it's controlled by humans at this point, and hopefully it will stay that way, but, you know, I'm unsure of that as well, is the fact that some of these people are also putting their directions in it as well. And the fact that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 weeks ago, thank you,
I want to get rid of that tickle in your throat.
thank you. That's
So-
all it was.
Yeah, I understand.
That Elon Musk's, what is Grok is his AI?
yes.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
it was
that's
he
Grok.
said something about 2 or 3 weeks ago that he's going to have Grok answer questions with a more conservative focus.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, it's not, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's not balanced. It's just, you know, it's got a position at that point in time. It's got a direction. So, and by the way, I got to give Elon Musk an awful lot of credit, man. He just made himself a fortune without batting an eye today.
Mhm.
He bought $1 billion. We should all go out and do this. He bought $1 billion worth of Tesla stock as proof that he's sticking around for the company and that he can get his, you know, work his way to his $1 trillion salary in whatever it is, 10 years from now.
Yeah,
Good for him. You know how much money he made? Because the stock went up somewhere between 20 and 40 bucks.
probably another $3-4
I
billion.
thought it was like 8 billion.
Okay,
something.
yeah,
I mean, it
yeah.
might have, by the end of the day, it may have.
After taxes,
Right.
you know,
$12.50
yeah,
cash.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Got to give the man credit for being smart.
yeah, and he just he
Not
made
objective, but smart.
he made in 1 year if he was to sell it for that value, which he'll never do. So he didn't technically made it,
Right. It's all
but
on paper.
his value went up that more than Blake. I see if you can Google how many countries entire GDP is under $8 billion.
All right, let's see.
I imagine, and give me like the biggest 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That's the entire country's
Yeah,
GDP.
It only closed up
hold on.
$14, but it was up 20
Yeah,
and something earlier in the day.
while I'm doing that right now, I just want your theories on this. Do you think Elon did this so that he can become the world's richest man again? Because like during the week, Larry Ellison of Oracle became the world's richest man.
I don't think they keep scoring that as much as we do.
Right.
You know, I really don't. I don't think. I mean, when you get to that level of money, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So,
So yeah, the key to the executive washroom or not.
yeah. I mean, you got he got his window office. So does Ellison.
Right.
You know, that's what it's all about.